All right. So do you wanna?
Yeah, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, just to let you know, inshallah ta'ala, this video, this podcast discussion is actually going to be going through the schedule, the topics in detail, that which is going to be taking place at KnowledgeCon 2018. This is the biggest event that we've ever done, alhamdulillah.
Definitely.
So, most events, you just get a little poster that has a schedule. This schedule is not like any other schedule. We actually had to do a podcast on the schedule. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're watching this, know that there's maybe 1 or 2 days left until registration closes. So we reopened it because of high demand. But right now, if you're watching this, it could be that the event has already signed or already either the days have expired or the registration has expired because the spaces have been taken up.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So if you really want to sign up before you watch this, then go to the link now and register ASAP, because it could be in the 45 minutes or so that you spend to watch this, you miss your total opportunity. Okay. The reason I'm saying this is because it's that serious. People are really, really, really signing up to this on a mad level. Okay. So with that said, inshallah ta'ala, make sure you also check out our sponsor, Crisis Aid, from the link below. We're going to link them. This charity is certainly doing some amazing work, and we support them all the way.
Sorry.
So if you want
a point about that, we don't tangle with charities, generally speaking, just because people are really, really shady with what they do with the money that they take from people. But Crisis Aid is clean. Wallahi, it's brilliant. It's
we've been on the ground with them.
Yeah, it's a very, very absolutely reputable, very respectable charity. And may Allah bless the brothers and sisters who are part of it. Yeah, with that said, we'll leave it to you guys. Yeah.
Let's go in. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, it's time. We're going to talk about the topics of KnowledgeCon.
The schedule
for KnowledgeCon.
The actual juice that everyone's been waiting for.
The schedule for KnowledgeCon. Now, I'm going to be hosting KnowledgeCon, inshallah. It's officially...
The whole 4 days?
Yeah, every day, inshallah.
Are you being serious?
Yes, inshallah.
We have to do it with you?
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to host the whole event, inshallah. And
I mean, for a wavy event, we need a wavy host, right?
Sahih,
so we got Mr. Wavy.
In accordance to prepare for that, the brother sent me the list for the topics and the names and the the discussions and whatnot and who's gonna do them. And I was like, yo, listen, we need to have a discussion about this. We need to talk about this. The people need to know what's gonna happen, because I'm not going to lie, it's looking really juicy.
Just to give some perspective, right? Usually when a conference is done and people release the topics, it's just usually like a schedule, like on the website or on a poster.
Yeah.
But these topics are so serious that we actually have to make a podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
These
we need
topics,
to talk about it.
You can't just put these topics out
this thing's got to get
in
unpacked.
A poster. Even though my guy, Mr. Sammy Panda, is going to make it into a banging little poster. But we have to make a podcast because,
no doubt.
Like, alhamdulillah, the two things that make this event unique to all the other events that we've seen out there, alhamdulillah. Sorry, 1 second. Alhamdulillah. Yahdikum Allah wa yuslih balakum. Yeah, it's the fact that it's got 2 elements. Number one, it's got a big fat link up, alhamdulillah.
Brilliant.
We're gonna have 1,000 people in the message, inshallah ta'ala. Brothers, sisters, many of whom are gonna be staying over the night. Of course, segregated, women on the women's side, brothers on the brother's side, inshallah. And it's just gonna be a jam. It's just gonna be lovely the way people are gonna connect. Not just that, on top of that, we've got topics specifically tailor-made for the needs of the Muslims in the West.
Beautiful.
These are things that I don't really get talked about. And in fact, you're gonna see these kind of topics put together in this way ain't really been done, inshallah ta'ala. So, without any further ado, let the host do his thing.
The email that was sent to me has 7 topics. No, sorry, has 8 topics on 3 days and 7 topics on the last day.
So you mean sessions?
Sessions, yeah. Total little time slots for where there's discussions and workshops and like a seminar kind of thing and all these different kind of things where interactive sessions, all that kind of stuff.
It's 31 altogether.
You got names and you got taglines, and I need to know what some of these things are, man.
Okay, but listen, one thing's though.
Go on.
They know what the speakers are, alhamdulillah, until they can know the topics.
Yeah.
But we don't want them to know just yet.
The speakers and the
speakers
that
are giving topics. We've got to leave a bit of surprise.
Yeah, Sahih, definitely.
And even then, we don't have all the speakers and all the topics mentioned there because we've got some guest speakers that'll be coming, inshallah. So we can't release.
And the other thing is, it'll be nice to see brothers and sisters sort of predicting or saying who you think is going to do this topic and who's going to do that one, inshallah. So now, first things first, so we're starting on Monday the 31st. So in the morning, the first thing we got is the opening ceremony, and it's called Let the Link Up Begin. So tell me, why did you pick that name and all that kind of stuff? Like, chat to me, what's going on?
Look, it has to start heavy, right?
Definitely.
So inshallah at the opening ceremony, you know, people usually come when they come to an event, they feel a bit awkward. Some people have anxiety about meeting people. Like, new people, they don't necessarily want to meet new people. They feel a bit uncomfortable. They might feel a bit left out. They might feel a bit singled out. So it's not like that at any of our events, alhamdulillah. We want to make sure when the people come through, they feel comfortable from the get-go.
Definitely.
You know, you're not going to be forced to like make friends if you don't want to.
Perfect.
But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the environment and the setting is live, relaxed, chilling, epic from the beginning.
Perfect.
So inshallah ta'ala, that's my job. It's just to basically get you guys in the mood, in the ambiance,
warm them up
for what inshallah ta'ala will be the biggest event that we've ever done.
Sahih, definitely.
And inshallah the biggest event that they've experienced thus far.
Hopefully.
That's the standard we set for ourselves.
Definitely. All right. So we're going to have let the link up begin where, you know, we're going to share, exchange groups and people are going to meet each other, etc., etc. You know, it's going to be the beginnings of a big fat link up.
And like I said, some people, I know they don't feel comfortable with like they're being forced to meet new people. Don't worry, you're not going to be forced.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be a nice environment.
Yeah, no, everyone's going to be comfortable.
To.
Everyone's going to be comfortable. You're going to meet who you want to meet. You're going to not speak to whoever you don't want to speak to, inshallah. Whatever have you, innit? Now, to kick it off, right at the start, we're going to have a discussion or rather a session titled Don't Be Sad. The Islamic Solutions to Depression and Anxiety. Now, chat to me. Why, like, what's going on? Why are we talking about depression?
Wallah, you see that one of the most common emails that I get on my Nasiha sessions on a day-to-day is people that even talk about like depression and sadness because of their life or marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depression and sadness is literally it is literally one of the 2 or 3 main topics that I get emailed about.
Okay.
And the fact that we are in the winter time, depression actually peaks statistically in November. And this time, obviously, we're not in November, we're December, but November is a time when depression actually peaks the most.
Wow, subhanAllah.
So people, you know, might self-harm, feeling suicidal, feeling very down in the dumps. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, how can they overcome this? Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a very difficult life. He had 7 children, 6 of whom died during his life. He buried his own children with his own hands.
Wow,
like, that's very hard to do, and that's not even talking about all the calamity and the stress the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through. Like yet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam still used to find happiness and joy and peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was he happier than you? Yet he was going through more than what you're going through.
Yeah.
So inshallah ta'ala, we're gonna go through how to not be sad despite the calamities and the difficulties in your life.
Perfect. All right. So next question is. Or rather, next session it's called a job interview, overcoming the problems of the 9 to 5. Now, I've heard this discussion had by so many different people, but I don't think it's been given justice like this. So, tell me, like, what are we going to talk about? Is it going to be generic kind of stuff, or is it going to be targeted to young brothers and sisters? Right.
So, I mean, one thing that people have a big problem with is like finding a halal job. Like some people will be like, look, since I started practicing, I have to leave my job. My job is haram, or I done my degree and I'm trying to find a halal job in this sector and it's hard, or, interviews are haram. Or there's so much discussion about what can I do, what can I not do.
Yeah.
So this is all about how to find a halal job.
Yeah.
In a haram environment, right? Because most people tell you, it's so hard to find a halal job. So what do I do?
Yeah.
So inshallah ta'ala, this is going to be broken down into 4 pieces by the speaker. The first segment, inshallah ta'ala, is going to deal with how to find a halal company, or what is a halal company, what's a haram company in the first place, and what's the ruling of working in a haram company.
Beautiful.
Second thing is going to be dealing with, okay, calm, your company isn't haram. It's not dealing with something haram. So the essence of the job isn't haram, but the company deals in an element of haram.
Okay, so what do we do?
So that's
to
important.
get out of that?
The job is halal. For example, like they sell clothes.
Yeah.
But there's an element of haram connected to the company. For example, it deals in interest riba.
Yeah, might have a loan with the bank or something like that.
Exactly. So what do you do in that situation,
Beautiful.
right? Then the third element, inshallah ta'ala, is okay, calm. The job is halal. The company is halal. It's not dealing in elements of haram, but every now and again you might be required or asked or needed to carry out a haram act. For example, you work in an office, and every now and again you might have to interview a woman or have a meeting with a woman privately, and that's free mixing. That's haram now. What do you do? Are you allowed to do it? If you're allowed to do it, what are the conditions? Or maybe you're just not allowed to do it in totality. These are questions people have.
Beautiful.
These are questions
very
people
important,
have.
very
so inshallah
important.
ta'ala, we're going to never get through that. The fourth thing, inshallah ta'ala, is specifically stuff related to women when it comes to finding a job. So as you can see, the presentation is going to be done, inshallah ta'ala, and then obviously there's going to be extensive Q&A for people to be able to ask questions and go into things as well.
Now we got we got a break, then we got a sister session, and then after that there's going to be a discussion which we haven't actually named yet, but we'll come back to that. Definitely will be announced to the people. And then there's going to be a panel discussion. I'm not going to name the speakers, but there's a panel discussion that's it's called Bang Bang, It's Da'wah Time.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen there?
It's just about it's you know, bang bang's that time, man.
So you're not going to give me any teasers, no spoilers. We're just going to skip over that one, let the people find out.
Just know that's gonna bang. Inshallah.
All right, perfect. Okay, so straight after that, we're gonna have a break. Then we're gonna go to Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
How long is the Q&A?
So every day, except for the last day, every
Yep.
day, inshallah, we're gonna have a 1 hour solid Q&A. Each speaker
Okay.
is gonna take the Q&A.
Yeah.
Not each speaker, but there's gonna be 3 different
Mhm.
speakers that we've chosen, each to hold a Q&A for 1 hour, and this is just unload and ask questions.
Yeah. Whatever
Like-
you want, just come, bring your question.
And we'll do our
Inshallah.
best to filter out
Yeah.
and help the most relevant ones come through.
Yep.
And people just get to ask stuff that's like, not, you know, you don't get answers to on a day to day. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, now in the evening, we decided to roll out with something called the late night show.
The late night show.
So it's going to be something where each speaker, or rather a speaker, will spend in the evening time with the brothers, a session with them.
This is at night. This is
the
1 a.m.
brothers
This
who-
is for
the
those
brothers who
who
are staying over in the night.
For those that stay in the night.
They're gonna have an interactive session with the speaker and have a discussion. I'm gonna name this one. Yeah.
Go on.
This one is with you.
Yes, with me.
So it's the late night show with Da'wah Man.
Okay.
And it's called Become a Da'wah Man.
Yeah.
So do you wanna give us a teaser, or do you wanna leave that one out?
No, this one's about encouraging people to do da'wah and what you need as a da'i and
Yep.
so on and so forth. So it's something that's very important and close to my heart. Like, I just wish there was more people that felt like, rah, these people suffering. They're suffering from kufr and shirk and bid'ah and sins, and they're
Yep.
drowning in evil. Like, if we don't reach out to them,
Mhm.
they might end up in the hellfire. So it's just to try and encourage and motivate people to pursue a path of da'wah, but then not just go out there and start talking.
No, but to
as if
warn
you know,
people and
but how to actually be a
get them
da'i,
through
what is
that. Yeah,
required,
yeah, yeah.
the knowledge that you need, and so on and so forth.
I like
So,
it. I like it.
That's just gonna be that personal, just chilling with the brothers late night,
mhm.
1 a.m. in the morning, just relaxing. You get me?
Definitely, I love
Might
it.
bring some tea and that, some scones, tea and scones and
Let's
that.
see. All right, so that's a nice wrap to the first day. I like it because it's warming up the people, getting them used to this kind of format where
Yeah.
people are coming to link up. At the same time, we're sitting down having an academic kind of discussion or listening to a seminar, whatever have you, something like that.
And that ain't even
which
the
is
most epic
beautiful.
day. Like, the day,
Perfect.
the day gets epic from
Yeah,
that
no,
point
it's just
onwards.
warming up the people. Now, the second day, first things first, straight away, we're having a discussion about manhood. It's called Man Up.
Man Up.
Manhood in Islam. Now, first thing I want to tell you, what I want you to tell me is, and the brothers as well who are listening, is it? I know it is, but I'm saying, tell me, is it a qualified brother who's going to give us this talk? Or is it just
No, it's definitely a man.
Yeah, that's
this
what I'm
one's
saying.
definitely gonna be delivered by a man.
Rajul,
Inshallah,
inshallah,
yeah.
definitely.
So okay, look, manhood is a very important thing.
Mhm.
Okay, like men are not allowed to imitate women. Women are not allowed to imitate men.
Mhm.
But nowadays you don't even have men imitating women. You got men imitating animals.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a problem. Some men are imitating animals.
Mhm.
The thing is, what does it mean to be a man?
Yeah.
Now you need to know this, my brothers, so you can man up and actually do what your responsibility as a man is. Do you see what I'm saying? You always want to tell a woman, "Oh, woman should be like this. Woman should be like that." What should a man be like?
Now, also, brothers are out here telling other brothers how you should behave as a man. And I'm thinking, you're not coming with some kind of, there's no basis to what you're saying.
There's no based on no dalil.
Yeah.
Like, what does the Sharia require a man to be?
Yeah.
Not just that, sisters also, the reason why they'll benefit from this is because they're going to raise men. They need to raise men.
Yep.
No, they need to marry men.
Yep.
Okay, sisters need to make sure they don't marry a guy who's not a man.
Yep.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you and designed you so you'd be attracted to a man as it is anyway. Some women, they find that they marry a man, he's not really that manly after marriage.
Yep.
And then there's problems. She's unattracted to him and it creates problems, right? So you need to know from the get-go, what does it mean to be a man?
Yeah. Like, which characteristics am I looking for?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I love it. Juicy. Amazing. All right. Then we're going to have a little break. I'm going to go to pain and suffering. Reasons for calamities. Now, tell me, what's that about?
So, like, if you speak to people, like, majority of people, I find this is anecdotal kind of experience,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you'll concur with me. Majority of people tell you my life sucks.
Wow.
Are you happy with your life? I'm asking you right now. Are you just look at it? Are you happy with your life? Most people will tell you, no.
Honestly,
Like,
I'm not really too happy.
I'm struggling.
Wow.
Whether it be psychological issues, emotional issues, financial issues, family issues, you know, like medical issues, spiritual issues. Like people got calamities, problems in their life. He's going through financial crisis. He's going through this disease. You know, he's going through a heartbreak or divorce or, you know, whatever have you, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we want people to understand that in our religion, calamities they work as a cause and effect. They are an effect and they're triggered by a cause. Okay,
Yep.
the same way we've got gravity, right? Okay, if I drop a ball, there's a cause and effect between the ball, me releasing it, and gravity putting it down.
Yep.
That's a law. It will always work like that.
Sahih.
So what's the law that has been placed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that causes calamities to come into your life? What are the things that trigger calamities to come in your
Yep.
life? It's that there are reasons why we're suffering in this way. You know what I'm saying? So then inshallah ta'ala we're
So
going
it's
to
going
go
to
through
us
this.
practical ways to avoid things like, you know, pain and suffering.
Exactly. So this
Beautiful.
combined with the depression one, inshallah ta'ala will really add
Yeah.
a good quality to your life, inshallah.
Sahih.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so now the next session is called Ladies First. When women are better than men in Islam.
Yeah.
Now, like, that's a different kind of spin. I've never heard anyone talk about something like that from that kind of perspective. So what's that about?
Well, like, akhi, the thing is, in our religion, our sharia doesn't work towards equality,
Okay.
because equality leads to injustice.
Yep.
Right? You can't put a 7-year-old kid and give him a PhD, you know, students, you know,
Yeah.
homework. But that would be unjust.
So it's not possible to
It-
have
it
an
would be
egalitarian
equal-
society.
It would be
with
equal
fairness.
to give them the same work,
Yep.
but it would be unjust to give them the same work. Do
Definitely.
you see my point? That's why they don't make men and women play in the same sports. You see what I'm saying? In the same team. Sorry, why? It would be equal,
It's
but
not
it's
fair, yeah.
unjust. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but our religion is about justice, not equality.
Which is beautiful.
So there are certain times where justice is met by giving preference to the women in some things. You see what I'm saying? And women sadly don't know. Like, Islam honored women and preferred women and made them first in so many things above the men. Okay? And it's not just being a mother, because I know straight away they're going to be like, oh, it's just being a mum. And by the way, that's not something that should be belittled.
No, of course
Being a
not.
mum is actually a very important, great
Yeah,
thing.
it's
But there's so
unique
much
to you.
more.
No one else can do that.
Yeah, there's so much more that women have been honored more than men.
Yep.
So this is something to kind of show them in this day and age of feminism.
Remind them, like, look, no one's trying to put you down.
Yeah.
Just remember, there's things that Allah put you up in. Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. Okay, now straight after that, we're gonna have a sisters only session where, inshallah, the speaker is gonna talk about girl power,
Yeah.
unlocking a woman's true potential.
So this is
Now, this
what-
kind of runs over from the previous topic, but at the same time, it's completely separate.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what's that about?
Okay, so this, like I said, now every day we're gonna have a sister session where sisters get like a private session with the speakers, inshallah ta'ala,
Yep.
and it's stuff that's really relevant and specific to them. So this one's called
Yeah.
Girl Power, right?
Yeah.
So Girl Power, what that's about is unleashing your potential. Is basically, look, if you look today, you'll find that the most famous Muslim women are famous for things that are not very like good. Like what's a Muslim woman famous for today? Hijab tutorials, like makeup tutorials, vlogging. Where's the substance?
That really superficial kind of stuff.
Yeah, like where are the days where a woman is known for her successes, for her achievements, for her accomplishments, for her brain, for her works, for her efforts. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're gonna have a session discussing the reasons why the women are not unlocking their potential and how to unleash their potential. Because Islam honored women so much, there's so much more that they should be doing, that they need to be doing. But to be
So
fair,
just like nudge them in the right direction, so they can
but to be
truly
fair,
like
the
shine.
sisters haven't been given as many opportunities, so we're going to be discussing how
We can break down
facilitate
those barriers,
opportunities,
et
break down
cetera,
those
et cetera.
barriers,
I love it.
and put them in a position where they can start unleashing some of that girl power, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Now the next one, this one might, set some people on edge, but it's called hijab tutorial. Now, what's that about?
So again, this is not just a sister session; it's for brothers and sisters.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason why it's for brothers as well, because brothers, they have wives, they have daughters, they're going to
Yeah.
be raising daughters, mum, sisters, so they need to know these things, right? So
Yeah.
I'm saying, like the brothers, rahmakallah. So the brothers sneeze.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
So the brothers, obviously, being the man of the household, you need to know, the way the family should be running. So you need to know this. And
Yep.
of course, sisters need to know it, right? So we call it hijab tutorial. And the reason why we decided to go through this is because, you're going to struggle to find a video online that comprehensively explains to you what hijab really is. What's the purpose of the hijab?
Yeah.
What really is it?
Yeah,
Like,
I
what's-
feel like sisters have to run around to kind of get answers to that, which makes it
Yeah.
difficult.
And it's such a foundational thing. There's so much confusion around what's halal, what's haram, what's obligatory, what's recommended,
Yeah.
what's wajib, what's sunnah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sometimes I also feel like sisters are a bit shy to ask because they feel like it's a shame for them to not know.
yeah.
So it's like it's good for us to tackle this topic
I'll
head
be honest.
on,
I
unpack it, chop it
I
up,
haven't
make
seen
sure people
stuff
get it.
that's done.
You know?
properly, honest. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
So it's perfect, amazing, brilliant. Now we got a panel discussion in there which we haven't penned in just because it's still in the works, but it's going to be put in there inshallah. Then we got a Q&A again for a whole hour and a bit, and then another late night show with I can't say who and I can't say what it's about, but wallahi this one's going to be brilliant. I'm not expecting to stay in the masjid, but this is something I don't want to miss at all.
There might be drama for this one.
There might be actually some stuff that we might have to do for this one. I honestly can't even say it. I have to just leave it there.
No, say the topic.
If you
Say
wanna-
the topic. Say the topic.
Okay,
Don't mention the
the
speaker.
topic, I won't say the speaker. The topic's called Jinn Stories.
Ooh, late night show.
It happens at 1 a.m. I can just tell you, listen, this is one of those that if you miss it, you're just going to be hearing people talk about it for years. That one time we were in the masjid, 1 a.m., we were telling Jinn story. The speaker, he said this, etc., etc. Honestly, man, you can't miss it.
And you know what it is? It's not just going to be stories. It's going to be like practical examples, life
Yeah.
lessons, and how to actually, do ruqya if you're in a form of exorcism, if you're in that kind of a situation.
Beautiful.
Like you see, there's a lot of
This
epic
isn't.
stuff.
That's not the kind of thing you want to miss, innit? All
And
right.
if you didn't think it could get any more epic, the next day gets more epic, right?
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's a nice wrap to the second day, which is straight in the thick of it. Everyone, we're having a jam now. Now we're getting it, understanding. People are mixing up, whatever. Now the third day kicks off with imitating the kuffar. What does that even mean? That's the title. What does that even mean? And this is good. It's important. And we touched on this before as well, which is when I first started practicing, people would tell me, like, for example, with my hat, they would say, listen, you're imitating the kuffar. You can't wear a hat. And I'm thinking, bro, you're telling me something that I don't understand. And I don't really think you even really understand. So people throw this ruling around all the time. And I'm not sure there's a lot of clarity on it. So it's good that we're going to have this unpacking session where, okay, what is imitating the kuffar? What does that mean? What does that imply? What are the implications of that in the long term, the short term, whatever have you? And I think it's perfect that we're going to have that discussion. So yeah,
No, you summed up
did I get it
nicely.
right?
Yeah, you summed up
Nice,
nicely.
nice. Okay, now the next topic, or rather the next session is how to get married in the 21st century. Overcoming the obstacles in getting married. Now, I want to know, because I've seen one, two maybe things about this, and I've heard, little sound bites, kind of Q&A, like you mentioned before, like Q&A kind of things, but I've never seen anyone unpack this, and also from a perspective of, rather, I don't know what the perspective is going to be, that's what I'm going to ask you, but I've seen, is it going to be like a generic kind of thing, or is it going to be, practical solutions, brothers, we're close, I can tell you what to do, this kind of thing, etc.?
Yeah, so not just brothers, sisters as well, right? The thing is, again, yeah, like you said, this is such a big problem. Like marriage is such a fundamental thing. It's half your deen, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, and it's one of the fundamental reasons why people are falling into major sins, because like we said, getting married sometimes costs you like 10,000-20,000 pounds, but just fornicating with a woman, it just costs you a cinema ticket and a popcorn. You see what I'm saying? So so being such an important thing and such a big problem in our society and community, especially living in the West in the 21st century, we need to have real solutions to this. And I feel like nothing's really been put out there in terms of like real quality and substance. There have been efforts and contributions in the way of little snippets, sound bites, as you mentioned, little Q&As here and there. But I personally haven't come across something that's comprehensive, that's done in a correct way. Not to say that there isn't anything out there. If there is, alhamdulillah, we're just adding our contribution to it, inshallah ta'ala. But if not, then this, inshallah ta'ala,
because brothers and sisters are going to come through and they've never heard of it before, and they, it's a question they've got in their mind, but may not have researched it, and it's like this is a big problem in your life that we're gonna provide a solution.
Yeah, for example, some people might be in a haram relationship, how to turn it halal. How to avoid even being in a haram relationship in the first place by just getting married in the right way, overcoming financial issues, cultural issues, all these kind of things. So this is gonna be a nice, very interesting thing, inshallah.
Very, very good. Now the next topic is called, and I think this is really important, it's called the Quran versus the brain, the relationship between the text and the intellect. Now, I'm not going to talk too much on that. What's that about? Tell us.
So literally, like, the Quran tells us, and that we have to hear and we obey. Okay, we hear and we obey. We don't question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When He tells us to do something, we do it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he tells us to do something, we do it. But at the same time, the Quran tells us, to ponder over the verses and so on and so forth. So some people interpret that as like the Quran saying, question the Quran. And that's not actually the case. But the question is, so what's the relationship between the mind, the logic, the intellect, and the Quran? Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a mind. Are we to totally abandon it when the Quran tells us something, even if it goes against what we perceive to be logical and rational, do we suspend our logic, or do we use our logic and ignore the Quran, or is there a middle ground in how to kind of navigate between the two? Like, what is the relationship between the two? Do you see what I'm saying? So inshallah ta'ala, this is something that I think is a very pressing, very important thing.
Very important discussion.
It's an aqeedah issue. It's a creedal issue. It's the kind of thing that if people don't even navigate it in the right way, it could even take them outside the fold of Islam. So inshallah ta'ala, it's something that I think is very important.
It's not the kind of thing you can risk, and you have to really understand this one.
Especially in this day and age where people are pushing, like secularism, liberalism, use your own mind, be independent,
all these different isms and
people want to reinterpret the text. I don't really agree with it. And to what extent does a person engage with their cognitive faculties in the text? Is it for everyone and anyone to engage with their cognitive faculties with the text, if that is even possible, possible to do in the first place?
Beautiful.
So all this, inshallah,
so all this is going to be unpacked, taken out. I love it. Beautiful. All right, so moving on. In the day, we're going to have a sisters only session, which is called How to Spot a Player, Overcoming the Traps of Men.
It's for girls only.
This is for girls only. There's no brothers allowed to be in this
one's going to be nice.
It's got nothing to do with them. So we can kind of see it coming, but tell me, explain to us.
Okay, anyway. Look, so brothers are very manipulative, and if a man wants to manipulate a woman, it's one of the easiest things in the world to do. Coming from men, you would agree, right? Men, this is one thing that all men know, but women just seem to not get.
Totally understand.
Even if they get it logically,
they don't internalize it. They believe it won't happen to them.
No, it's sometimes they're already under his manipulative kind of control. So it's like they can't even admit it. You see what I'm saying? So inshallah ta'ala, we're gonna give you inside tips from men on how to spot a player and protect yourself from a player. You'll be shocked how many sisters are getting played. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some sisters will get married, live, die, and be played and not even know that they were played. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is a big problem. Don't get twisted. Sisters can be players too.
Yeah, of course.
But like we said, ladies first, right? So we're gonna give the sisters an exclusive insight, inshallah ta'ala. Definitely. And the brothers can't listen because we're gonna be, inshallah, aiming to expose some of their bookiness.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Okay. Now the next one, shall we go with it or
the topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so this one's called "I Love You." How to keep the spark.
I love you too.
MashaAllah, for the sake of Allah. How to keep the spark going. So, to my understanding, this is going to be a discussion about how a married couple who's either newly married or they've been married for a while, how they can keep that stride through that connection going in a time where they're being inundated with different concepts and whatnot that are pulling them away from each other, right?
Yeah. So look, the reality of the matter is that getting married, if you think that's hard, being married is harder.
Being married is harder.
Yeah, it's like people say, look, when giving da'wah to someone and getting them to take the shahada is hard, right?
Yeah.
What's harder is once they become Muslim, keeping them there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, especially in the day and age where we live, where people don't understand what marriage really is. Like, for them, marriage is all about Bollywood, Hollywood, what they see. It's just been so, they
have a vision that they created when they were very young, based on fiction.
Exactly.
And they want to live that.
And the reality of the matter is when people get married, most marriages are loveless. That's why you find that 50% of people who are getting married are getting divorced. And Muslims are part of that statistic.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So
no, honestly,
how many people do we know that?
Yeah, I was going to mention. So many people I hear of, they get married and within 2 years they've separated, and wallahi, it's really sad, man.
So the point here is, how do we keep a relationship with a love? It's continuous.
Yeah, keep that ship sailing,
So inshallah ta'ala, that's what this is going to be about. Important topics, as I told you guys.
Yeah, definitely. No, this is really important, and I'm really happy that we're unpacking it. Now, the next is a panel discussion, and it's called an Instagram story, a discussion on social media.
Yeah.
Now, what is that?
So look, we live in a day and age, akhi, where the phone has actually replaced the TV. In fact, the phone has become a bigger part of people's lives than TV ever was in the past. That's in my humble opinion.
Sahih. As you're talking about social media?
And the most primary thing, if not one of the most primary things that people use on their phone is social media. YouTube is a social media. Facebook is a social media. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, these are all different forms of social media. So we need to go through firstly, like what are the dangers and what are the benefits of the different types of social media? What's halal, what's haram, what's right, what's wrong? Certain rules and regulations pertaining to social media that people haven't even thought of. Sometimes a man will be a certain way, or a sister will be wearing niqab and she's out on the streets wearing niqab. I'm not saying niqab is like this out there. I'm just giving a very extreme example. It may not even exist, but I'm just using it as an example. Like you might have a woman who's wearing niqab on the streets, but the way she behaves on her Snapchat and her Instagram, sending her private messages and whatnot, is as if she's in a club with a guy. Do you see what I'm saying? So what are the boundaries? What are the limits? What are the dangers? And some really important things that are around social media. Do you see what I'm saying?
And a lot, I think also we're gonna have a lot of practical advice on how you can, if you have a sincere intention, how you can avoid certain types of fitna.
And how you could do a lot of good on social media. Like you can run businesses on social media. You could do da'wah on social media. Like you do a lot. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna have a nice thing, and that's why we called it an Instagram story. You see the play on words.
Yeah, I love it.
You see the play on words.
Beautiful. I love it. It's brilliant. Then we're gonna have, like I said, another Q&A. Then we're gonna have another late night show, and this is called Gangology.
Gangology, yeah.
And I like it because it sounds, if I'm right, it sounds like it's gonna be.
These names are sick.
Yeah, no, like these.
Allahumma barik.
We have a brilliant
Allah
team.
bless us.
Our team
Protect us
came
from evil eye. Say
some of
may
the
Allah
best
protect us from
names.
evil eye.
Allahumma barik.
Say it. May Allah say Allahumma barik.
Allahumma barik. So
Say it again. Haters.
So I'm assuming this discussion is we're going to talk about the science of the roads. We're going to talk about how people get into it, how we can take people out of it, what kind of things you should avoid, etc. Like all of that stuff. And I'm happy that it's with brothers and it's late at night. We're going to talk about
late night show.
The fakes, the snakes, the Jakes. We're going to talk about everyone.
Man said the fakes, the snakes, and the Jakes.
Yeah.
You know what? Put that on there. Put that as the
tagline.
Tagline. Sammy,
Beautiful.
add that as a tagline. Gangology, yeah. Fakes, snakes, and the Jakes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Snakes, and Jakes. I like that. You just get it on the spot. Say Allahumma barik. Say Allahumma barik. You haters. I know you're hating right now.
Yeah, genuinely.
You wish you had a wavy friend like this. You wish. Haters.
So yeah, no, and that's gonna be a nice conclusion to that night because, it's something that definitely brothers need to know about because I'm saying there's, for example, and I spoke about my little brother before on previous discussion about bullying, but like he's telling me stories about his friends. They're like 12 and 13, and to be honest, it's not surprised. It was the same kind of thing when I was in school, and they're deep in the roads, and it's like, come on, man, we should be way past this at this point. But I guess everyone kind of needs that reminder in it. So it'll be a nice summary of the third night.
100%.
Now, the last day, obviously, it's gonna feel a bit sentimental because KnowledgeCon is coming to an end, coming to a conclusion. I can already feel like
I believe they're gonna all cry at the end. Honestly, the friendships, the brothoods, the topics, the iman boosts, everything. Like when you're in the masjid 4 days, like praying, especially the ones who are living in the masjid 5 days and salah in the masjid. I believe at the end, at the closing ceremony, they're all gonna cry, inshallah.
Genuinely, because you guys don't know because you haven't gone, but from our own experience, we've seen smaller events or like things that haven't been planned or planned to be as big or as grand as this one. Things that are just off the cuff, and people get so deeply engaged with one another when things end. It's almost like I have to make sure this friendship doesn't go with it. KnowledgeCon is over, but this is my boy now. I have to make sure I connect with this guy. I have to make sure I chat to him after. I have to get his WhatsApp. We have to make a group chat, whatever have you. They have to really, really, make friends, which is really important. And I can already feel the emotion that's coming as a result in it. So the next day, we're going to have a discussion. It's called Netflix and Chill. A real look at music and movies. Now,
that's a Netflix
I can kind of, that's a good name, innit? I can see.
That was my name.
Yeah, no, Allahumma barik. Very, very good. I can see where that's going, but tell me, innit, what's that about?
So obviously, two of the biggest influences of people is music and movies. And I would honestly, I've recently heard other people say this, alhamdulillah, and I'm really happy people have started to say this because I thought I was the only one. But people will talk about music being a bad influence, but I believe actually movies are worse influence than music. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about both, really, people, like, when you don't understand your enemy and you don't understand the weapon they're using against you, you can be affected by
easily
it.
swayed by it, of course,
But then
yeah.
when you do know now,
Mhm.
this allows you to combat
Yeah.
it. And many of us have been affected. Actually, we've been affected by things that we might have done in the past. We still see elements and
Remnants.
remnants sorry, of them in us today.
Mhm.
Our hearts have been corrupted.
Mhm.
How do we repair them now? How do we go about correcting them?
Beautiful.
Sometimes, you might have just left Jahiliyyah, but certain things that you've done, certain movies that you watched have damaged your heart. Your heart's still sick though,
Mhm,
so you need to know
mhm.
how to treat it, cure it. You can't even begin to cure it if you don't even know what the sickness is in the first
Yeah,
place.
genuinely.
So I think it's important to go through.
I agree. That's really really good. Especially because the young brothers and sisters, if you get out soon, it's easier.
There's
Brilliant.
also just they don't know, but there's a special guest inshallah that's going to
Mhm.
be hopefully coming on Thursday.
Sahih.
That's why we're actually missing
Yeah.
some of the things on Thursday. There's
Yeah.
two topics that don't think the day is shorter. We just
No, we're
haven't
just
announced it yet.
Sahi.
Keeping it as
Yeah.
a little bit of a little.
Maybe a little surprise people inshallah when
Little
they turn up.
surprise.
Like, if you come, you'll see it. If you don't come, you'll have to hear about. Oh, you missed it. You should have been there. All right. Now, did he approve the name or? We're gonna
No,
have
he
to-
did.
we're gonna go with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
cool.
keep it. We'll keep it
All right.
basic.
So this one's called Overcoming Addictions and Bad Habits. Now, is that like smoking? Is that like I don't know, sneezing for no reason? I don't know. What kind of addictions and bad habits are we talking about here?
Sorry guys, my cough. I don't know. It just came out of nowhere.
Hmm.
So there's addictions which are like smoking, drugs, alcohol, pornography, masturbation. Like vices that people are addicted to.
Yep.
But there's just bad habits, man.
Mhm.
Bad things that people do, like swearing.
Yeah.
Things like that. So how to overcome addictions and bad habits.
Mhm.
So inshallah ta'ala, he's gonna break it down, go through it step by step, and
SubhanAllah.
hopefully.
Like is he gonna come from like a deen mixed with psychological perspective? Like he's gonna.
I believe so. I
He's gonna
believe
really explain it
I
to us,
definitely
yeah?
Deen, but I also believe he's
Beautiful.
gonna come for it from a nice psychological perspective as well.
I love it.
Alhamdulillah.
That's actually perfect.
Mhm.
Okay, beautiful. Now, like I said, as you mentioned, there's a couple of things that we missed out from here, on purpose, so people can find out by themselves. But there's going to be another sisters session
Just for the sisters.
just for sisters.
Exclusive.
It's called Mirror on the Wall.
Mirror on the wall.
Makeup, leggings, and crop tops. Now, what those are all like juicy or not even juicy, like controversial. Or,
Juicy.
like,
I don't even think
those-
it's controversial.
no, I mean like not even controversial. I mean like.
You wouldn't expect to hear that being
Exciting
spoken
kind
about
of
in the
yeah,
masjid.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it makes people wonder, like, what are you talking about? So what's that about?
Okay, so mirror on the wall, leggings, crop tops, and
Makeup.
makeup. So this inshallah ta'ala is going to be a session talking about beautification, insecurities that women have with regards to the way that they look, understanding this concept of, sorry, my mind's gone blank. But understanding this concept of how society has basically set a certain standard for beauty, really kind of like assessing that, placing that standard under the magnifying glass and seeing, is that even relevant? Is it even correct? Is it even accurate?
Yeah.
The concept of beauty being subjective, and also how to become confident. This is the main part of it. How to become confident in your looks, the way you are. You're beautiful, the way you've been created. How to own that.
So this is actually about like how the girl looks, how the sister actually looks.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, amazing.
And also, inshallah ta'ala, other stuff as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Amazing. We're gonna unpack a lot of issues there, but that actually sounds really important because there's a lot of sisters who, from what I've heard from anecdotes, not any experience that I've come across myself, but from what I've heard from others, they suffer from this kind of thing where they're like, I want to wear hijab, but I don't want people to look at me and think that I'm unattractive or whatever have you, and it's like. There's a lot of issues that are being mixed there, a lot of confusion that's happening with you, and it's nice to have someone unpack it and unfold it and
it's also
lay
like-
it out for you so you can clearly see what your priorities are and what they should be and where they might not be and whatever have you.
And it's like so many women have actually become almost slaves to beauty. Like you
Yeah.
can't get out your house and you spend an hour getting ready in the morning, and even when as you're walking to school, work, you're constantly looking at the mirrors, the side mirrors, the windows of a person's car. You're going to the toilet, fixing yourself. Like you're just how do you free yourself from the shackles
Yeah.
of
conforming.
of conforming,
Yeah.
and own
Mhm.
yourself and your beauty. How do you
Sorry.
own your beauty?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we got a lot to talk about that. I think maybe we'll pick up the discussion another day. Now, there's another to be announced in there, but then we're going to go to another panel discussion.
Mm-hmm.
This one's called A Much Needed Discussion on Racism.
Mm.
Now, this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, and I can completely understand why. So tell me from a perspective of, like, what's this going to do for the people?
So, look, the reason why we titled it A Much Needed Discussion Racism is
very,
because it's
very
much
important.
needed. Like, to be honest, it's shocking that people don't deal with racism, and it's taken so long for people to actually talk about it in such a kind of open platform.
Yeah. As in, and being honest just about what's happening in our communities.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, Islam's not racist in any way, shape, or form, but there are certain, things that certain people suffer from who happen to be Muslim and they racist tendencies. You see what I'm saying? So we have to tackle them. Like, people talk about zina and alcohol and drugs and gangs and this, that, which are problems
ills.
and social ills in our community. But what about racism? It's something that it gets neglected, and because of it, certain victims of racism get neglected. So we need to now start really screaming and shouting this topic at the top of our lungs and working towards eradicating it. Because if you look, Shaitan, he was, in essence, what you could potentially call a racist, in the sense where his issue was what he was made from.
Definitely.
When Allah told him to make sajda to Adam,
Yeah.
he said, I'm made from fire, he's made from clay.
Yeah.
So he thought
And
himself to be
he
better
thought he was higher than Adam.
because of what he was made of. You see what I'm saying? So some people are like that because of their culture, their place, their race, their country. You see what I'm saying? And you know what the sad thing is? And this is really why I want to tackle this, is because a lot of people will tell you, I'm not racist, bro.
Yeah.
In the 21st century, but we ain't racist. But the reality is that racist is actually, it's a subconscious thing that has actually been institutionalized into the framework of the people. They don't even realize it.
Definitely.
Do you see what I'm saying? But when you bring it to light, then it starts to kind of manifest itself.
Definitely. There's a lot of brothers and sisters. I can't, maybe not a lot, but there is a group of brothers and sisters who have very deeply concerning racial prejudice or tendencies, or ways that they sway in regards to how they judge people, and they don't even know. Do you get it? So
100%.
I guess we'll unpack it and explain it to them. And alhamdulillah, we got a nice lineup of brothers who are going to talk about that.
That's panel discussion, right?
Definitely.
Sure, yeah.
All right, now this is the emotional one. This is the grand finale.
The grand finale.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Wow.
I
can feel the pain already.
Yeah, like I said, I'm already feeling emotional because I'm just picturing this whole event and the energy and love and whatnot. So basically, coming to the end now, we're gonna have a little grand finale, final advices, and we're gonna make plans to see everyone next year. Because one of the things we're trying to do with KnowledgeCon is we're trying to make it that this is the one thing, 4 days every year that you need to make sure you're there at. I don't care if you're coming from Yorkshire. I don't care if you're coming from New Zealand.
Yeah.
You need to we every year we want this to grow until this becomes the absolute biggest link up in the West of Muslims, period, for 4 days.
Sorry.
I have dreams like 4, 5, 6 years down the line, this not being 1,000 but 10,000 people in the masjid, youngsters, those who are not practicing, newly practicing.
This is your chance.
Do you see what I'm
you
saying?
can meet people just like you.
Do you understand? And not just that, like, you learn beneficial knowledge at the same time. You make connections, relationships, friends for life. Do you see my point? So this is a project where every year it repeats. We want you to be coming to KnowledgeCon 30 years down the line and your kids are coming.
Beautiful.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Amazing. Yeah.
So inshallah ta'ala, we're gonna set a plan, strategy, and let people know the future and everything and how it's gonna go.
The emotion.
Yeah, emotions like kicking off.
Because Jenny, because I can already see myself connecting with a lot of these brothers. I guess we'll just leave it. We'll leave it there. We'll leave that one for when the day comes, 100%. Inshallah. But that's a wrap, man. That's that. Obviously, there's a couple of things that we haven't mentioned yet, and a couple more surprises for the brothers and sisters. But for what we're announcing right now, that's wow.
It's a lot, huh?
I'm saying, if you haven't got FOMO already, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, honestly, like, I'm not even gonna try and hype it and tell you, man, this, that, and the other, and
No, but the point is, we delivered. We delivered.
Yeah, the reality of the matter is that if after hearing this you don't feel like you need to come, then you know what, don't come, because this event, like, you understand, is needed, and to be honest, it was made with you in mind.
Definitely.
You see what I'm saying? So with that said, guys, we're gonna have to love you and leave you, and I'm just
Love
so
you and leave
excited. I can't wait to see you guys on the 31st. Now, this registration will be closing in 3 days. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. By the time they're watching this video, it'll be closing in
2 days.
2 days,
Mhm.
or maybe even less than 2 days,
Mhm.
right? So if you're watching this, you better go to the link below and register now.
Now. Yeah.
Because if it's too late, it's too late. Not just that, please, we all have friends and family members who are not practicing, female, male. Please come and find a way to get them to attend this event.
Mhm.
If they're non-hijabis, bring them. If they're non-beardies, bring them. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, just come, please.
Mhm.
Let this just be something
Don't
powerful.
let this be a missed opportunity, because, I everyone has to wake up. If you're not practicing, you have to. There's a day that's gonna come where you're like, I can't continue this lifestyle. I have to turn back to Allah. And obviously, everyone knows the sooner the better. It's funny. My dad told me something the other day, which I thought was quite profound, and I think I'll mention it to you. He said, "Time is an investment. The earlier you get in, the more value it will return later."
MashaAllah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
As in, time is an investment that appreciates over time. As time goes on, time gets more valuable. Do you get it? So if you make use of the opportunity you have now, you're less likely to have to pay expensively on at the moment that it arrives, that you have to turn around. Now you know the Hajj has come. You have to turn around. You have to do something now. If you just did it before, it would have been cheaper on you. You wouldn't have to pay so much. Do you get it? And it'll be at great personal cost for you when eventually that day will come. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think hopefully people can see that and be like, okay, yeah, this is an opportunity. I can learn something. I can meet some people. I can change my life.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm gassed.
Wallah, I'm so excited, inshallah
Inshallah.
ta'ala. Wallahi, I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal, I am so excited. So with that said, guys, inshallah ta'ala, make sure you register below. Also know that over the next week, inshallah ta'ala, there's loads of events up and down the country. Specifically, we've got the scholars coming down, alhamdulillah. They're going to be doing a conference in Leicester. Our Sheikh Faisal Jasim, hafidhullah ta'ala, is going to be there with other mashayikh. Medina College has got some epic seminars as well, and we're going to be putting the links below to them as well. And there's other stuff online, mashallah, that's happening. Just look out for it. This is going to be a winter break filled with knowledge, inshallah ta'ala. Don't just make use of this. There's other stuff that's out there, inshallah ta'ala, for you guys to benefit from. And the scholars, that's the most important thing for you guys to go to. You know, that's really what the foundation of knowledge is. Do you see what I'm saying? So with that said, guys, hopefully register below, and we see you on the other side. KnowledgeCon 2018.
The first annual KnowledgeCon. Bruv, it's here now. We're here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.